Welcome back, guys, to another video. I wanted to talk to you guys about the significant aspect of being content and how, when we are on our so-called journey to success, because that's what we've been sold. We've been sold the idea that when you're born, you have to start creating goals for yourself, and your entire life is predicated on trying to meet those goals. And meeting those goals are usually attached to financial gain. And the financial gain usually has a product of material possessing. Because at the end of the day, you're only working hard to get the money in order to purchase materials. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the significance of being content. On a previous video that I had, and you can see it on one of my channels. I forgot what the title was. I think I was talking about the interview with Terry Crews on Shannon Sharpe's podcast. And he said something Terry Crews said something that stood out to me, but it was always a way that I lived my life. I've always lived that way. Now, I'm not saying that I live it perfectly. My endeavor or my ambition is to consistently stay in that mind frame, right? To stay in that thought process of always being content. Is it hard to do? Of course it is. Do any of us do it perfectly? No, we don't. Because we're inundated by a barrage of material things around us. And we have people around us that are striving, immersing themselves in this rat race to get the most money in order to acquire more material possessions. I tend to not want to give my energy into those things. However, I do find myself at times comparing myself to other people. And we all know what that does. The instant you begin to compare yourself to other people, that's when your joy is gone, or contentment is gone. I'm not saying not to set goals for yourself. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should not self-improve. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you should be confident enough and secure enough in yourself to be content with yourself if you know you're trying your best and doing your best. Many of us are born, and many of us are not genetically gifted. Some people are born to be 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot tall, 6'5", 6'6". Some people are born to be 5'5", 5'6". Some people strike the genetic lottery. It just happens that way. That's just the way life is. But in those moments of things that we can't control, like genetics, there are plenty of things within our realm of reach and within our realm of influence that we can touch, that we can affect, that we can impact. And the reason why I have this mindset of being content is not because I was taught to be content. I come from an African family. I come from a Nigerian family, and if you know any Nigerian or any African, you know they pursue status. Being a doctor, being a lawyer, being an engineer, just having a profession that brings you in a lot of income is what they strive for. Especially many of them that leave their homeland and come to the West. They have this idea that your identity is wrapped up in your profession. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Your identity is not wrapped up in your profession. Being a wage slave is not who you are. Before jobs existed, you are who you are. You are divine. We're all divine beings. Our profession does not dictate who we are. So men out there, if you lack confidence because you feel like your job is worthless, or you feel as if your job doesn't pay you enough money to showboat to the females out there that you have money, don't feel bad. Your worth is not tied up into your job. Your worth is tied up in how you take care of yourself and how you take care of your mental state. We've allowed job seeking, we've allowed the external things outside of us to dictate the internal things inside of us, and it's supposed to be the other way around. I would argue and say that if many of us took care of ourselves internally and took care of our mental state, the other things will fall in place. The high-paying job, the good career will fall in place. But we have not done that. We've worked reversed. We've worked backwards. We've worked underneath an inverted system, an inverted blueprint that leads to chaos and disaster. That's what we've done. Some of you guys, it's too late. It's too late to go back in time and rewind the clock and start all over. But if you are in your current state not happy with your profession, do not allow your profession to dictate who you are as a person, because who you are as a person trumps your profession. Your profession needs you. You don't need it. Now, you do need it to pay bills, but in the grand scheme of things, they hired you. Do the best you can at your job, but don't give more to your job than you give to yourself. Don't work so hard at the job, then when you come home, you can't do anything for yourself. You can't go to the gym. You can't even try to eat right because you're so tired. The easiest thing to do is to stop by McDonald's or stop by Jack in the Box or stop by Wendy's or stop by Burger King to get you something to eat. To me, that's where it starts. It starts with self. My walk in getting to this point, and I'm still on this journey. I'm not perfect at all. Right now, I'm sitting in a Hyundai Accent. I have an Audi Q7, a 2010 Audi Q7. It's an old car, over 100,000 miles. It's old. It's not like the newer models. I had that before I had kids. You know, when I had kids and got married, expenses, you know how that works. You have daycare bills. You have 3 mouths to feed. So my money, my income is not predicated on making myself look glamorous. My priority is to my family first. I would gladly ride a scooter to work as long as my kids can eat. That's what happens when you become a man. You start to make sacrifices. It's not about you. It's more about your kids, it's about your wife, and about your family. So with that being said, I want you guys to understand that the level of contentment that I have is not perfect, but I am the way I am because it's by default. I couldn't win anymore. It's like the bully who bullies you, right? I want you to follow me here with this analogy. It's like the bully who bullies you every day. He's beating you up. He's taking your lunch money. He's scuffing you up. He's pulling your underwear out of your pants, giving you wedgies. He's scuffing you up and roughing you up, right? And then you get home and your parents tell you to fight back. Then you say, okay, you muster enough courage to stand up to this bully. And you stand up to the bully, you fight him, but you get your butt whooped. It's okay, but you fought him, right? You go home, you tell your parents what happened. They say, it's okay. If he messes with you again, do this to him. He messes with you again, you fight him. You get a couple of hits in, you get your licks in. But overall, the bully's bigger than you. He beats you up again. Okay, you go home, you tell your parents what happened. They say, it's fine. Keep standing up to him. Eventually, he'll leave you alone. Then another day, he fights you again. But every time you fight this bully, he keeps beating you up. So then a light bulb goes off into that kid's mind, the kid that's getting bullied. He says, you know what? My parents want me to continue to fight this bully. And I am putting up a fight, but I'm not winning. The fight that I'm putting up is not enough for him to stop messing with me. Obviously, my licks or the blows that I am giving him is not enough to stop him from continuously bullying me. So an idea goes off in the kid's mind that's getting bullied. He says to himself, you know what? Rather than listening to my parents about continuing to fight this bully, I am going to not fight him. I'm going to just evade him. I'm going to just get away from him. But if he messes with me, I'll defend myself, but I'm not going to go out there seeking a fight. So the kid smartens up. Next time he sees the bully comes up to him. The bully sees that the kid that he bullies is not that aggressive this day, and he kind of lays off because he's not used to that. He's used to the kid fighting back immediately. He bullies him. But this time, the bully says a couple of mean words, and the kid that gets bullied kind of just walks away. He doesn't stand there to confront the bully and try to put up a fight. So the bully doesn't fight him on that day. Why am I giving you guys this analogy? I'm giving you guys this analogy because this is very comparable to what I'm going through as a man of being content. The world has beat me up. The world would teach you how to be content. And if you don't learn how to be content, you'll find yourself miserable. See, over and over again, In my younger years, I would compare my car to other people's cars, right? I would compare what I have to other people. Not a lot, not more than the average person, but likely like the average person. We all do it because everyone is playing the game. Everyone is in the rat race and everyone does it. And if you right now listen to this video, you say you don't do it, you're lying. You do it. We all do it. All right. You buy a house, you start to compare your house to somebody else's house. You buy a car, you start to compare. We all do it. But the world has beaten me up so much. When I say the world has beaten me up, in terms of me pursuing financial success in order to acquire those material possessions, it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to work out, right? My profession doesn't warrant me the type of money that I would need in order to get those things that I think that I need. All right, I think that I need. Those are more wants to satisfy my ego and to infuse my pride in order to give me a false sense of security within myself. And that's a pathetic state of existence. So I had to come to that realization and tell myself, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. But it's not because I'm such a smart person and I figured it out. No, I couldn't do it anymore. Just like the kid couldn't beat up the bully. I could not play the game anymore. So I stepped out of the game. When I stepped out of the game is when I got internal peace. I started to understand that, you know what, as long as I have a car to take me to point A and point B, I have a roof above my head. Now, occasionally when I ride into my neighborhood, I see other houses that look way better than my house. I have a 1-story, 4-bedroom house, and actually it was a 3-bedroom house, but we converted one of the rooms into a bedroom. It's not the ideal of what I wanted, of what we wanted, me and my wife, but at the time during COVID, we kind of just jumped on it because it was a low interest rate at that time. But if we knew what we know now, back then, we would have just got the house we wanted to get, and we could have afforded it, but we wanted to play it safe. At the time, the little kid back there, I didn't know that my wife was pregnant with my son. So when we got that house, we were thinking we just had 2 kids, just my 2 daughters. And then, of course, a huge surprise, my wife finds out that she's pregnant. So then it was a good thing that my wife converted that other room into dining room. She converted the dining room into a bedroom. So that's where we're at. I don't live in a fancy neighborhood, so that's where I'm at. So when I drive in, it's hard not to compare because I see other houses around me, but I have to be very intentional and make a conscious effort to not compare. And it's a practice. Just like if you practice a sport or practice a skill, you're going to get better at it if you're intentional about it. But I'm not going to give up the fight. I'm going to continue to battle to be content. We have to go against the grain as people. And your identity is not bound by your material possessions. Your identity is bound by who you are as a man and who you are as a woman. Women out there, your value is in you, your beauty, and your soft-spokenness, and your feminine spiritualism, and your feminine energy. That's what your value is. And then as a man, as a protector, the masculine energy that resides within you, that's who you are, not a car. Those things are man-made. Man made those. So you can't put a man-created device and use that as a way to identify yourself. That's an ass-backwards way of thinking. The car didn't create you. You were here before the car. It took men. It took industries to be created to create that vehicle. So don't ever put material possessions or anything in a house or anything above yourself. Put yourself above everything. You are a miniature version of God. You are a mini God. All right, so govern yourself as such. Be content. Don't have this idea that, oh, I don't have this, so this makes me a weaker person. No, you're not weak. You are who you are. All right, you are who you are, and you are who you are without or with the things that you have. So I'm gonna leave it there. I have like this weird neighbor next to me, man, that likes to talk to me so much. He's like walking up to me right now as I'm trying to park in my garage. It's freaking weird. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and tell me what you guys think in the comment section. All right, bye-bye.